games you were playing. Can't bother reading your message, no I'm not here for your show, wasn't asking. But I've been quitting what you're taking, I've been sipping cause I'm making no regrets, I'm not insistent, just go and be what you were, I'm not missing you, yeah. I'm fucking down with all this shit you told me. Just to grant that I met you, damn you hold me down. All my fortune's just been wasted or gone. Oh, you made me feel alone. You thought there's a cure, I went and let you be. Now I know for sure I don't wanna take you home with me. I don't wanna take you home with me. Take you home with me. I don't wanna take you home with me.
Hey, what's up YouTube? Yesterday I dropped my first ever one passive voices while doing Simulacrum. I'm going to include it in the next video, but today I'm going to talk about Delirium Mirror farming. And this is probably the way I made most of my currency at the start of the league after I stopped doing Delirium orbed maps because I was tired of picking up every single splinter. I was literally picking up over 150 splinters in a map on average, and that's 150 extra clicks. And with the lifespan of my mouse would have probably died within 4 months of playing PoE. Not really, but you get the drift, right? More clicks is bad. Delirium Mirror, less clicks is good. So the reason why Delirium Mirror is so good is because, or in terms of the rewards, is because of how it drops. Everything is dropped at the end of the mirror, so you don't need to go back through the map and click on the 200 or 300 splinters. And also, Delirium Mirror is pretty fun in that it's performance based, in that the better you perform, the better the rewards will be. And it's definitely, I think, one of the best, like, least looting playstyle for the amount of playing that you'll get to do. That's also a pretty high investment strategy. So right away, let's get straight into the strategy and let's see how we can actually do it. And in this video, I'll probably tell you how you can actually learn about how Delirium works so that in the future, in any league, you can understand how you can maximize the amount of splinters you can get. So first off, we want to understand why is this method so good? Well, the first slide is kind of a contradictory statement, but profit is not as high anymore because Simulacrum is at 0.9 exalt. I think a lot of people are catching on to this, and a lot of people are able to do this method because of how good the Atlas passive tree is for enabling you to cheese the mechanic. Now, Simulacrums were probably at like 1.2, 1.3 exalts when I was doing this. So it's slightly worse, but the profit margin is still pretty good. And the playstyle is pretty fun. So the new Atlas passive tree is the main reason why we can get 300 splinters so easily now. Because it allows you to add a lot of league mechanics and free juice to the map. The Surveyor's Compass, which is the new currency they introduced, allows you to store the sextants. So here you can see this thing stores a sextant modifier in an item. So you can buy bulk sextants with Delirium mirrors on it, and you can buy bulk Alva temples, which is something you were never able to do before in the past. If you wanted to get more Alva temples, the only way you could do that was by buying Master Seek's Help, which was a low proc chance, or by just farming up a bunch of Alva missions yourself. Also, this method has a lot lower barrier of entry than before, which is both a good and bad thing, because when stuff has a lower barrier of entry, then more people can do it. And if more people can do it, then the market becomes flooded. But basically, the new shrine nodes on the Atlas are completely insane. And the goal with the increased effect of shrine nodes, and there's also a CFKB build out there that uses the Blunder Boar, it completely trivializes the content. The shrine nodes are pretty much just as powerful as having a headhunter, and you can put domination on the map. And if you throw in an Inspire Learning, you're pretty much at Headhunter level speed. I have done the Delirium Mirror multiple times without a Headhunter on and just using a goal and the Shrine nodes and an Inspire Learning, and I was able to get 275 plus splinters. But now let's go with what is actually the best map for this farming method. And the best map is actually going to be Strand. Now, the reason why Strand is the best, and I do think there might be some other maps like Lair, Promenade that are pretty up there. But Strand is such a nice layout, and once you can get 300 splinters consistently, and I did get 300 splinters like 4 or 5 maps in a row with the strategy. So you can choose Strand to be either T14 or T16. And this is based on the difficulty and the level of gear you have. So if you're doing a T16 map, you'll obviously get more XP. You'll also get better cluster jewel drops because they're 84. So you do have that chance of potentially getting 84 troll passive minion cluster, which is worth around like 8 exalts or something. And you also get higher tier maps. And higher tier maps like T16 strands do sell for more. So T14 Plus allows you to drop Awakened Sextant and have influence mobs. So there's really no big difference between running T14 and T16. You'll also get the exact same amount of splinters. So you can sustain T14 strands pretty easily by taking out all of the void stones after activating a map. So say you activate a map, so you have these void stones in, you activate a map, and then after you activate it, you take them out, and then your strand will be back to T14, and they will drop at T14. So if you want to sustain T14 strands, that's the best way to do it. But basically, T14 or T16 strand, best map in the game for this farming method. Now let's go over to Atlas passive tree, what we'll need to use. So let's go over to Atlas passive tree because I know a lot of people have questions about exactly where to spec your points. So the Atlas passive tree is mainly focused on Blight, improving the Blight to get more chances at having 2 Blights on the map, more Blight mobs. You want Delirium nodes, you want Harbinger nodes, you want Domination nodes, you want Abyss, Breach, extra Sextant use, and Eater of World altars. And then you can also focus on the Alpha nodes to generate double Corruption Temple. I personally did not do this because I was too lazy to read the rooms. But if you do this, you could probably generate like an extra 80 chaos to an exalt every 4 to 5 maps. And this is actually pretty important for profit. And Singular Eternity and Descent into Madness are also very important for splinter drops. And we'll be able to understand this when we go into how Delirium mechanics work for farming Delirium Mirror. So let's go over to passive tree real fast. When they come out this way, these nodes are important. They give us an additional chance to get a Blight encounter. In the recent patch, they added a chance to have 2 Blights in a map, which was impossible before. I did take these Beyond nodes. I'm not really sure how useful Beyond is anymore. I'll probably drop these. But before, I was taking Beyond on a map device instead of Domination. But I did try Domination out and it was better. So theoretically, if you didn't want to do these Beyonds, you could go over here and get more chances at generating an extra reward layer for Delirium. And you could take these Alva nodes. These are the Alva nodes you should be taking if you do intend on doing this method so that you can get a double Corruption Temple a lot easier. So here we have Time Dilation. This node is extremely important because it gives you extra time for killing the Alva Temple. And when you're at the end of the map, the Alva Temple is super hard. And having that extra time is a lifesaver, and it also makes the chances for all the monsters to be magic, which is insane for dropping splinters. So here is the Shrine node that gives an extra pack of mobs and at least a magic pack guarding it. And here's Flash Breach, which gives you density and makes a breach close faster. Abyss nodes over here, Harbinger, more mobs, additional Shrine, additional pack size for Abyss, and more additional pack size for Abyss. And Sextant used up here at Eater of World altar, right? So basically, this whole Atlas tree is focused on getting as much mobs on the map as possible, and you can choose to specialize in certain things. And these nodes are very important. Singular Eternity makes it so that the Delirium Fog dissipates 25% slower, and Delirium Fog in areas last 10 additional seconds before dissipating. And this node here makes it so Delirium area increases 50% faster with distance from the mirror. So now let's go over how Delirium mechanics actually work and how you can drop all the splitters. So the way the Delirium mechanics work is enemies in the mist are delirious, giving them increased damage, mitigation, and damage. And the further out you are in the mist, the stronger the effect. And layout of the map is everything because of that way. So you want the layout of the map to be as long as possible, and so you can be as far away from the start of the fog as possible. So the deeper you are in the fog, the more splinters you will get, which is why the layout is so important. And mission spawn location matters a lot, so do not get discouraged. You ideally want your alpha temples and blights at the end of the map. So this is pretty much the scaling for Delirium, and I know my head's in the way, so let's move that over a little bit. So you can see here, 20% is 19% less damage taken, 80% is 77% less damage taken, and 100% deli is 96% less damage taken. So you can see here, there is a huge amount of scaling once you get towards the end of the map and you're at like 7 or 8 reward layers that you'll be doing 100% deli. And sometimes it's probably 97 to 98% damage reduction. So the end of the map will be by far the hardest, while the beginning of the map will be a joke. So now you saw those Atlas passive tree nodes, and you might be wondering, how does these nodes help? So Delirium Fog area dissipates 25% slower, means that the start of the fog will move slower, and the end of the fog will increase faster with Descent into Madness. So what this means is that, say you're at the start here, this fog will move slower to this way. So this is the start of the fog and this is the end of the fog. And with the node that moves the fog faster, say the end of the fog is over here, and while the beginning of the fog has moved very little to over here. So you want to be over here killing mobs, and this is the total distance that you are in the fog. So the further you are in the fog, say the end of the fog is over here, and the beginning of the fog is still over here, you'll get way more splinters. So that's why it's very important for like alpha temples and stuff like that and blight to be all at the end, because you want to be killing the mobs as far deep into the fog as possible, right? So if you don't clear very fast and you're going really, really slowly, then the fog will catch up to you, right? So that's why clear speed is everything. So say like you're really, really slow, right? And this is now the new beginning of the fog and this is the end of the fog. Then while you're killing these mobs, you will not be as deep in the fog as before. So when you notice that the mobs are getting really, really hard to kill, that means you're doing a really, really good job, because you're so deep in the fog that you're getting that damage reduction penalty that is applying. So that's why mission spawn location is extremely important. So don't get discouraged at all if you don't get the right amount of splinters. You should get discouraged probably if you have 2 blights at the end and all the alpha temples at the end, and your splinter count is still bad. A lot of times this means that your clear speed is too bad. And a lot of people also run outside of the fog. So if you're clearing too fast and you activated too many league mechanics, that you could actually be outside of the fog. And if you're outside of the fog for like 4 seconds or so, the delirium encounter will end. So that's why a lot of people will just fail it straight up like that. So let's go over what pauses or stops the fog. So the following will pause the mist encounter if you do a research encounter, if you're inside of Alva, if you're doing the Legion, if you're doing Breach, if you're doing Blight, if you're inside of Harvest, if you're doing Ritual. So this is why these are the encounters we choose to do. So you'll see later on when we look at what we actually put into the map that these are the ones we'll be focusing on. So these ones will extend the mist timer, so this will push the fog further. So this is opening a strong box, defeating a monster while holding essence, capturing a red beast, doing an immortal syndicate group, an abyss, completing a blight encounter, defeating a metamorph, defeating a harbinger. So every time you complete one of these, it'll move the end of the fog forward. And here, Sextants, Delirium Mirror, Alpha Temple, 1 additional Breach, 1 additional Abyss is what we'll be using. So this Delirium Mirror, you can buy all of these with charged compasses, so you don't actually need any Awakened Sextants for this. You do have to purchase it on trade, and I'll show you how you can actually search for it. Scarabs, you'll be using Rusted Blight, Rusted Legion, Gilded Breach, and Gilded Abyss. The reason we use Rusted Blight and Rusted Legion is it doesn't really increase our rewards to use a better type of Scarab. And Gilded Breach and Gilded Abyss is huge, because Gilded Abyss actually gives us 2 Abyss and 100% increased monsters compared to 1 and 50% for Polished. And Gilded Breach just gives us more Breaches, and Breaches is actually huge for getting more Splinters. And for the map device mod, we want to use Domination and not Bloodlines, and this costs us 3C. I should probably delete this image, but basically you get the drift, right? So you should be using Domination, not Bloodlines right there. And now this is how you actually search for inputs on the trade site. And this allows us to search for charge compasses really easily. So for Mirror of Delirium, you want to do area contains a Mirror of Delirium. And then you do number of uses remaining and put it at 4. And then this is the same deal here. Area contains master. You could choose alva, and then you put number of uses remaining 4. And then for abyss, you do area contains additional abyss, and then for breach, you want to do area contains an additional breach. So it makes it super easy to search for all of this and be able to buy up a bunch of stuff. So you can see here, I actually have all of my stuff in my tab right here. So I'm running some Mirror of Delirium here. I have breach here. I have abyss here, and I have alva. So when I want to do the maps, I just sextant all the void stones. You can see here, this is the setup I have. Then I grab my scarabs. I did sell off all my scarabs, but basically that's the general gist of it. Super easy to do, and it's pretty much something that was not possible before without the charge compasses. Now for the outputs, you get splinters. You can consistently get above 250 with the setup if fully invested, and getting 300 pretty much just relies on where the league mechanics spawn. Delirium orbs are also something that drops a lot. Most delirium orbs go for above 10 chaos, and many times you'll get like 2 or 3 a map. And blight maps also do drop a lot if you have the blight nodes, and they probably sell for like 12 to 13 chaos each because they're bugged. Alva temples are also able to be sold. If you want to see how much alva temples are, we can go, let's go see here. So alva temples, if you want to look at how much they are, they're Doriani's Institute, and this is the gem corruption one. So you can see here, they're like 65, 70 chaos. And with the nodes on the tree, you'll be able to get the alva temples relatively easily, and it shouldn't be too hard to do. But the most important thing you get is fun. One of the few things in PoE where your performance matters a lot. Just like in real life, this has real life consequences in that if you don't perform, you're going to fail and you're going to make very little money. So make sure before you do this that your character is pretty strong, right? So you want to be like these people, dancing the night away and enjoying your life and not dying and losing out on all of the sextants and scarabs that you spent for the map. But overall, let's see what we think about this method. Overall, this method is by far the most fun farming way for me compared to Delirium Orb maps because of lack of looting. Having all of the loot drop in the end like this. So say like you have 151 Simulacrum splinters here. Before, each one of these splinters will be dropping individually on the ground, and you have to pick up 151 additional clicks, and that's crazy, right? And this is just the best farming method I found in terms of personal enjoyment. It might not be the best exalts per hour due to the fluctuating prices of sextants, scarabs, and simulacrums, so you want to keep that in mind. It's still pretty decent exalts per hour. I think last I estimated it was 4 to 5x or 3 or 4 or so, somewhere around there. So not the best compared to like 5-wave farming or maybe doing simulacrums and leveling up 20 gems, but it's also a lot lower barrier of entry, right? Because you don't actually need a headhunter to do this. And it does require some baseline level of gear, and build needs good clear speed. So like I said again, you want to be deep in the fog. So if your build is clearing super slow and you're playing like some horrible minion build or something like that, then yeah, you're going to be moving. The fog is going to catch up to you and you're not going to be getting that many splinters. But overall, I highly recommend the strategy. It's very performance based. It feels rewarding to do. It's not that much looting, and it's decent exalts per hour. And there's not that much trading if you could just buy the bulk sextants and buy bulk scarabs. And buying bulk scarabs is a lot easier now. And yeah, highly recommend this method. And next video will probably be how to make a claw for the lightning strike build. But thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoy yourself, most importantly, because fun is the name of the game here, and picking up 300 splinters individually off the ground is not my idea of fun. But thanks for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe. Hope you find more mirrors, exalts, and one passive voices than me, and see you next time. Bye.